Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. How are you today? May our help and blessings always be given in our daily activities. Amin. This morning, we will learn on the course Sociology of Education. I am Nurrahma Sofiani. Here I will share a little knowledge about equality of educational opportunity, a look at gender difference and inequalities. But before we start our discuss today, it would be nice if we start by praying together in our respective place. Ala hadiniyah wa ala kulli niyatin sholihah. Al-Fatihah. Amin. Okay, next we will continue with our discuss and I hope you understand what I say. Our material is Equality of Educational Opportunity, a look at gender difference and inequalities. Based on the book The Sociology of Education, a systematic analysis in 8th edition. In this topic, we have four chapters. The first is gender socialization at home and school. The second, gender differences in secondary school. The third, gender differences in higher education. And the last, effort to combat gender inequalities in education. First, you have to understand that gender and sex are different. Gender refers to the set of social distinction that differentiate men and women, boys and girls. It is a socially learned and enacted role. Gender tends to refer to the social and cultural roles of women and men in a particular society. Gender is generally described as feminine and masculine. You may have been taught that men have to be strong and not to cry easily. Meanwhile, women tend to be taught to be gentle and motherly. This trait can be exchanged, that men can be gentle and women can be firm. Next, sex, by contrast, refers to the set of biological characteristics that differentiate males and females. The first topic is gender socialization at home and school. The socialization process begins the day we are born and ends the day we die. Gender socialization at home. Girls and boys are socialized differently from birth, so that by the time they begin school, most children have a good idea of their gender identity. Parents generally give more physical contact to their female children and respond the more quickly to their expression of distress, for example, crying, sadness, and etc. But in little boys, by contrast, receive much more active and rogue and tumble play. For example, make bicycle gesture with their legs. The second in gender socialization at home is children's toys, which are strongly differentiated by gender, also play a role in gender socialization. The second in gender socialization at home is children's toys, which are strongly differentiated by gender, also play a role in gender socialization. Toys marketed to boys, including video games, often feature violence and competitiveness with clear-cut winners and losers. But in girls' toys, by contrast, involve communal and cooperative forms of play games, focus on role-playing, sharing, bonding, and occasional scolding, as when playing school or house. So, it is these patterns of socialization that set the stage for children's entry to school. where primary socialization for boys has cultivated a sense of physicality, competition, and action, and a sense of emotionality, interdependence, and passivity for girls. The next is gender socialization at school. Girls and boys have different school experiences, partly because of differences in expectation, encouragement, and treatment by parents, peers, and teachers. Gender socialization begins at birth, influencing what ch- children feel is appropriate to their sex. Male and female achievement is affected by expectation and role models. For example, books, texts, and other materials, TV and media, toys, teacher stereotype and expectation, and peer group pressures. These differences are evident early on. Carry through the challenge and the fourth workforce and carry through to college and the workforce where gender segregation is evident. In addition to the formal curriculum, the hidden curriculum and interaction within the school play a role in gender socialization. At the end of elementary school, student gender identities have been merged and reinforced. The gender binary is evident, and boys emerge as energetic, competitive, and potentially problematic students, while girls emerge as compliant and cooperative. The second topic is gender differences in secondary school. Documented differences exist in the educational achievement in boys and girls. While boys outscore girls on tests of mathematical ability and science knowledge, girls outperform boys on tests of reading and writing. At the end of their high school years, boys have higher scores on the SAT and many AP exams, but girls have the edge in GPAs. It is unlikely that these differences reflect underlying biological factor or innate differences. Instead, they are likely the product of socialization and the social organization of schooling. For some adolescents who don't fit in many cases because of their gender or sexual expression, bullying is part of the school experience. Bullying is the use of force, threat, or coercion to intimidate or dominate others. It can be verbal, physical, emotional, or cyber. The third topic is gender differences in higher education. Historically, Ohio's Oberlin College was the first to open its door officially to women in 1837. Even then, women's education was restricted to domestic subjects. Through the 19th and into the early 20th centuries, most female college students were educated at women's college, where they received an education befitting your privileged woman, that is, one focusing on literature and domestic art. As mentioned, 1982 marks a watershed year with respect to gender and higher education. It is the year that women achieved parity with and soon overtook men in college enrollment. Now, please observe this table. The table shows patterns of men's and women's completion of bachelor's degrees in different courses of study. Based on years of socialization, students partially select major based on their belief about what they enjoy and what they may be good at. Women are overrepresented in the human service field, major that emphasize communication, human interaction, and nurturing roles. In addition, students appear to choose majors based on expectation of their future roles. Male students focus on pay and the expectation of being a breadwinner, while female students focus on major and jobs that help them balance work and family. Gender differences in graduate study and beyond. In this book mentioned that the author finds women are enrolling in graduate education in increasing numbers. However, although women are more likely than men to attain higher degrees, they still earn less than men and continue to face subtle and less subtle forms of sexism in higher education. Gender gap in pay at each level of education is that even when men and women earn similar degrees, they tend to focus on different subspecialties. These subspecialists have different demands and command different salaries. In law school, women are more likely to focus on family law, for example, a field that is more flexible but receive less pay. Men are more likely to focus on business law and passion law. Gender differences and inequalities in global context. Throughout the global north, generally Western industrialized countries, women generally have higher educational attainment than men. Even there, one perplexing cross-cultural pattern that raises question is gender differences in STEM achievement. And the last topic is effort to combat gender inequalities in education. Given some of the gender gaps in education, research, policymakers, parents, and advocates wonder if there are better ways of doing things. We conclude this section of gender differences in educational by discussing a few such examples. The first is single-sex education. In theory, women's college should provide a unique learning environment, one where female students have more opportunities for leadership positions and chance to develop mentoring relationships with faculty, especially in STEM fields. Research indicates that women who attend single-sex college do experience some advantage over women who attend educational college and universities. Feeling more intellectually self-confident, being more involved on campus, and feeling more supported by female role models, and etc. But what about single-sex education for boys? In recent decades, research have noted boys lagging behind in tests of achievement and have suggested that boys may benefit from single-sex classroom. Within higher education, Title IX has received a new identity. While it once focused almost exclusively on athletic equity, it is currently being used as a tool for protecting students' right to be educated by making sure that college and universities have adequate policies and procedure to deal with sexual assault. Alhamdulillahirrabbilalamin. My explanation is finished. Thank you for your nice attention, and I'm so sorry for my mistake. I hope you understand with my explanation, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.